So, welcome guys, I'm here with yours, and today I will pretend to talk about a certain way that I've been applying in my days. That is a way that should always face any type of problem that I will have to solve in the future, and this is one that I think is so useful that I should join every one of you the ability to apply them in your day-to-day life. So it's the type of approach that I've been obviously working on with, but I take off the book called Bulletproof Problem Solving, a way that obviously by the name is bulletproof of any type of problem, but obviously it integrates certain type of knowledges extra from the book that the book doesn't go deep in it, but is what I call mental models that are like ways that we have to understand the world and are obviously useful if I put them in my approach and are used by experts as Elon Musk to solve the problems and obviously making innovation in the world. So what's consistent approach? First of all, what's like our perception of a problem? What's like the first type of trigger that we have always when we have to solve a problem? Understand that a problem exists. So in the first type of step, we should like build a filter. And it's like a filter that obviously we have different ways to understand so the situation, but we can understand so what? We can understand that what I'm facing so is something that was made by someone. Where is the problem happening? With what frequency this tends to happen? By who? When? Where? So doing questions. I think the first type of step is kind of get a full type of toolkit that we should use to understand the problem, because we should always spend majority of our time understanding the problem and not just go directly for building solutions. We have to understand what we are trying to solve, but even more important, if we have to solve something and just by letting it off, just because it's not something that you should get triggered and you should not spend our time solving it. And so what I always try to do is understand the problem. Who did, if someone did something, what? What is the problem? So if it's important, if it's useful, if I have to spend time on it, if the problem is mine, where the problem happens, when. And so this all builds a type of characterization of the problem that is going to be useful, because later on, by understanding the problem, we can start to build our perception about the way that we should solve it. And there's here that enters one concept that we should always to look. The majority of problems, they can be, it's easy to solve, but we cannot solve them if we not try to make it smaller by having some type of disconstruction of the problem in smaller parts that we should solve. So, worst example. Imagine that I have a problem that is I have a health problem. I was diagnosed with the problem, with a health problem, and so how we should solve it. If we go directly, we don't have like some type of answer of casual effect that so by doing just something and we're gonna solve it. No, probably we have to understand so a problem where suffering is me, I'm suffering with, where? Well, always it's something that is on my body, is on my body, and so what I should look for, who are gonna solve this construction that problem. So here's the ability to understanding the problem, going for first principles, something that's used by Elon Musk, going always for the thing that you know that is fundamental truth. So, health problem. What do you know? Have some health problems that we have to do actions, other ones just not. So, if you just like have uh, we get hurt because we fall, but we just have some type of scares, and it's not something like that much important. Probably should not spend your time. But if it's like something as a cancer, well, here's is a filter that so make you go for the next stage, that is spending time on solving the problem. So in that case, war is cancer. Cancer is something that gonna beat us if you're not gonna take them off. So it's like a first principle, you know that's true. So when we are facing and go for so abstract, what we do when we're facing that is something that's danger for our life, and so what we should do? What's hard like the common answer? Do something. Do search for the thing that cut off the danger that's making you for, wishing for your life doesn't get taken. And so what seems to look for medical advice. That's logical to do. But now we have a choice, and having to do a choice is a problem too. So we have to look so medical advice. But medical advice for who? Medical advice where? Medical advice getting by who? So what I'm gonna do? So by what? What I'm gonna have to do? And so what's like a first principle? I want something that's try to heal my cancer. So what's the problem? If I want to get objective, but I don't know what's like the type of thing that we have and we can use to solve and to get to our objective. What do you tend to do? Now, putting all this in the abstract, it gives you more creativity. And what I will answer, to be honest, probably I will look for the person that I've targeted and have been in a situation that's close to me and have get so what is my objective? So what I will look, probably I will look for people that have got the ability to heal persons that have so my condition and survives. Probably I will look for what are the doctors, what are like so the interventions that seems to be useful to solve the problem that I'm facing with. And what's like a way that we so could be a criteria when I will to choose what type of pattern, what type of methodology that I will face when I compare have a comparison between one plan of health and another one. Probably what is the problem that I'm facing. So I'm facing a problem of what I have to face to get some objective. I would always seek for the persons or the people that and the methodology that is more credited over time, probably backed by scientific research, can be so filtered that applies on my decision making to show so to follow some type of behaviors in order to get my objective. So that's the type of problem that I have used as an example that fold what? Bulletproof problem solving, building a filter of doing questions to understand what's the problem, first principles that they help me to understand what's truth in my situation, reduction, what's like so the principles that I know that are obviously without doubt truth, and I have used abstracting layering to be creative to create hypotheses of what I should do, but obviously having some and always having some logical sense to back my options because I have adopted a criteria methodology of thinking that you just gonna have it if you have ability to think critically, if you are fed by mental models, if you read, if you understand, if you do this work, is a skill that you gain that's applied for every type of problem. And what is a problem? Well, a problem is a choice. A choice is a problem because I don't know what to do. Is a choice. I don't know what's better or not. And with this ability to think critically, we're gonna solve it. So obviously something that's understandable by anyone that is truth. If anyone has the ability to think like that, he always gonna have good type of results. So obviously this is a toolkit that we have to use, and depending the type of problem that you're gonna face, obviously you're gonna have a variation of what is useful, what's like the point of view that you are. It's what sometimes gonna so make you have to adopt other type of mental models that are more useful for. So, with that said, coming from our problem, by doing all this reasoning, what I've been have my what is so my action? I understand the problem. I'm gonna look for help. I'm gonna choose the ones that are more scientifically type of credited, and so scientifically credited by who? Probably I have to do the point of view of the persons that have got submitted to the methodology, and so I've been understand I got to understand what's their point of view, if it's truth, the data that I receive. So first principles, I want to get what's really truth. And what's real truth? Having the most type of approach, getting closer what's are real things. In that case, I look for real opinions. I have that type of logical sense to just don't believe things that I see in apps that are kind of easily can be manhandled. So I try to I work. What is other type of mental model that you can adopt? Feedback. When I do the action, I have the ability to get the feedback and understand if I'm facing real type of progression. Obviously, what is my sense of progression if I don't have any type of what any type of something that I can compare with? That's truth. That's why it's important. So when I'm facing a problem that I don't know if I'm doing something well or not, I'm always going to compare with people that have done a different pathway and are so close to me and see if they're getting better than me. So in that type of case, how I can get if my type of pathway that I've choose is still the right one. I can look probably for persons that have like some type of the same stage of cancer that I'm in with and have adopted other methodologies, what they are trying and if they're getting the results that they do want. So it's obviously something that it requires time, energy, but in a way that we got reasoning, the smaller type of problems that we are always facing is always needed, that type of critical reasoning, because we are always facing problems, choices. It's something that is you can use in whatever area you get in, wherever is your professional area, you're gonna always have to get this ability to think critically. So in Bulletproof, making the filtering, understanding the problem, building hypotheses of how we should act based by mental models. What are mental models? Are like ways to represent a reality. First principles is a way to represent a reality to get what's really truth. Abstract layering is a way that we make more abstract the specific situation that we face in order to understand patterns, in order to create something useful. Mental models are like getting the work that hardens have got and have been faced and get this knowledge brute in the brute form that you can adopt in your day-to-day life and obviously get benefits of it. And so it's something that we have to get with and we have to get used and use more and more and more. Obviously, after having solutions hypothesis, next step of Bulletproof, having the ability to always get feedback, and so the type of objective that we have when we adopt the Bulletproof problem solving is to try to get some objective. And so for that we get feedback and we have to get the ability to change our beliefs during the time depending of the feedback that we have. And so we have to create a easier type of environment that allows us to get something crucial, that is the feedback, decreasing the opportunity cost. Other mental model, opportunity cost is something that defines a lot the behaviors that we do. If I want to get sensitive to the feedback in order to change our beliefs and change our behaviors, we have to make easier so to do the action of doing this behavior. And so we have to get attention and we have to get sensitive to feedback. We have to get plasticity in our brain, be open to learn and change the way that we behave. And so I have obviously I've been adopting it. It's something that is bringing me results, and obviously I'm going to develop more mental models of different areas, economy, thinking, that we can use in other different areas, the ones that we get them because the world is type interconnected, and even fashion and clothes, some type of ways that people in that industry works can be taken in our benefit to apply in other areas, in other problems. So be thankful. I'm thankful for using it, and so see you other day.